And to provide insights on these latest developments, we have Professor Aris Arugay, Professor of UP Department of Political Science. Good morning, Prof. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, Prof, let's start first with this latest movement ng Ombudsman appointee. What does this appointment or yung upcoming appointment signal para sa iyo?
Right. Unang-una, hindi to kagulat-gulat.
Yes.
I think the mere fact that when Ombudsman Remulla's name was floated, medyo marami ng lalo na on the Duterte camp ang nag-criticize, and there were disbarment charges, there were attempts to derail because it seems like when Ombudsman Remulla indicated that he is willing to take on the job, naging strong candidate na kagad siya, no? Given his closeness to the president and given that he's Secretary of Justice. We must note that not only is the Ombudsman of the Philippines very powerful, no? Napaka-empowered niyan sa 1987 Constitution. He can do a lot of things motu proprio, meaning other ombudsmen kasi sa ibang bansa, kailangan talagang may mag-file muna ng case before it moves. The Ombudsman of the Philippines can by itself file charges and even indict officials. And walang ano yan, kahit sinong public official yan, because the ombudsman seeks to implement, the anti-graft and corruption laws of the country, and it can even preventively suspend, no, officials. So it's a very powerful institution. It also crosses over the term of the president. Kaya nga minsan ang nagiging lohika yung mga ina-appoint na ombudsman, ang perception is that this is to protect the president who is outgoing, no? And this is why, for example, you have an ombudsman before na forcibly pinag-resign, no? Kasi si dating ombudsman Merceditas Gutierrez, oo, kung di ka magre-resign, i-impeach ka namin, no? So, but also it's because I think at the present, no, marami na ngang nainip dito sa appointment na to, no? Because at present, this is the clamor of the Filipino public, accountability. And the chief, sabihin na natin, accountability officer of the country is the ombudsman.
Tanod bayan, sabi nga nila, di ba? Pero you said earlier, Prof, na hindi na po kayo nagulat pa dito sa appointment na to. But did you wish at some point that the president should have appointed a, as they say, non-partisan ombudsman?
Right. Ideally, yes, no? Ideally, yung ombudsman should be able to have yung probity and independence, no? Very critical yung independence. But it's quite difficult, no, in politics. And if you will see the previous ombudsman appointments, marami din naman magsasabi na hindi to purely effective. Oo. Although of course, it wasn't really purely a presidential prerogative because according to our constitution, the president must choose over a short list by the Judicial and Bar Council. So and of course, nakita din natin na naging public and transparent din naman yung process, no, ng pag-shortlist. But yung pagiging independent or objective, ano yan ang test niyan pag na-appoint na at pag kumilos na, no? And let us remember also na there was a time wherein si dating ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, di ba? She even indicted the president who appointed her, no? Si dating President Pinoy, no? She indicted Pinoy after his term. So ibig sabihin nito, yung ombudsman can also be exercise independence. And yung prejudgment, baka dapat tingnan muna natin kung ano yung gagawin niyang initial steps. But I'm saying this because I do think there is now some pressure for the new ombudsman to do something about this anomalous flood control projects, because it seems like the existing mechanisms are not working or are working very slowly, if not the perception of the public, naiinip na, more than 70 days na, wala pa rin nakakasuhan, wala pa rin naaaresto, no? And in the meantime, public infrastructure all over the country is falling and gumuho. May isang gumuho na naman na tulay, di ba? So, in other words, the
Right.
ombudsman, I think, is pressured to do something very quick and to show the public that accountability is the game in town and not impunity.
Yes.
Prof, I'd like to ask, no, ano yung fear, ang tanong nito, ano yung fear ng Duterte camp? Parang there seems to be an extreme fear of Secretary Remulla, no? Ombudsman Remulla. When it's history will tell you that every other ombudsman, although may galing sa shortlist, what we all know also is an appointee of the president. Number two, although you're mentioning powerful nga ang ombudsman, and I agree with that, but also we all have to remember yung power of the ombudsman is what we call temporary in nature with regards to mga indictments niya. Kasi reliant siya sa Sandigan Bayan. Diba? So if you have a impartial Sandigan Bayan, ano yung fear ng mga Dutertes?
Right. Yung fear kasi I think they now realize that when the shoe is in the other foot, nakita nila yung vulnerability, no? When the Dutertes under the Duterte administration, nakita din naman natin kung paano nag-perform yung ombudsman.
Yeah.
Diba? The former ombudsman, for example, put stringent qualifications in the transparency of the SALN, no? So in other words, they know that if the ombudsman could do a lot of things, no, tama ka that it's reliant on the Sandigan Bayan, but let's remember that mere act of the former ombudsman, no, na pahirapan yung pag-divulge ng isang public document na katulad ng SALN na nasa konstitusyon na dapat public document, no, is indicative of its power, no? And therefore I think ang lumalabas dito is, no, that the ombudsman could really make, no, officials of the previous administration accountable.
That's right.
And therefore yung tinatawag natin na protective, no, shield that perhaps, no, that was afforded to the previous administration is now gone, no? Wala na 'yon.
Sabagay, Prof, I agree with what you're saying. No? Tsaka yung ombudsman kasi, even if it has initial findings or indictments, na which could be reversed by the Sandigan Bayan, ang problema yung sinasabi natin, the damage has been done already to the politician. So in other words, kung may election na parating, na-indict ka, di ba, matagal mag-decide ng Sandigan Bayan, yung numbers, yung political clout, baka bumaba sa mga Duterte, yan ang inaalagaan nila. Especially, yung impeachment ni VP Sara will be on, I think, February, pwede na ulit.
Right. Because kasi ganun din naman yung ginawa nila when they were in power. Like, let's look at Representative Leila de Lima. Diba? I mean, in other words, no, because this is the system that is being reinforced, and this is why it's crucial that the new ombudsman transcends this polarizing politics that we have in the country and really pursue accountability in the name of what the public needs and not what faction, what one dynasty prefers, no? So ito yung challenge, no, sa bagong ombudsman, and it seems like so far what Secretary Remulla has former Secretary Remulla, now Ombudsman Remulla, is saying is that he will diligently perform this with probity and independence. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's see. But I think, no, kung ako tatanungin kung anong dapat una niyang gawin is that unang-una i-lift niya yung ginawa ng predecessor niya sa SALN. Yeah. Right. I-lift niya yun. And so that let us all see the SALNs of officials.
I think go ahead. Yeah.
And I think kailangan din, no, there should be some proact kasi may maraming nagsasabi na unang-una nga yung ICI hindi naman yan kailangan If you really have a proactive ombudsman who will really use its powers, no, together with COA, kumbaga we already have those existing institutions. We don't need an ICI, and in fact kaya nga nakikriticize ngayon yung ICI kasi ayaw ngang gawing public yung hearing. So in other words, what the country needs now, what the Philippine public needs now is really some genuine resolve to really show that this is a government that walks the walk, that doesn't really just, declares that it is shameful that you have corruption, but it's really doing something about it. And
Right.
it's one of its greatest weapons is the office of the ombudsman.
That's right.
Right. It's good that you said that, Prof, kasi moving forward, even if we say na Ombudsman Boyeng Remulla would act immediately on filing cases regarding the flood control projects, at the end of the day, people would always say, based on history, 'di ba, na pagkatapos naman ng isang administrasyon, yung mga nakasuhan, nakulong, ay naiiba yung tadhana nila pag may panibagong administrasyon. So do you think this is going to be different this time around?
Right. But yes, kasi parang nangyari, 'di ba, katulad nung sa pork barrel scandal, yung sa DAF, no? And
PDAF.
may mga PDAF, no? May nakasuhan doon, no? May mga nakulong, may na house arrest, but nung nagkaroon ng change in government, nawala na. In fact, at ngayon parang ang lumalabas is na whitewash na, parang hindi even though there was an indictment. So in other words, kailangan din talagang bantayan, and I do think it is very important that there should be pressure from the public, and the public must communicate, no, civil society, the church, no, all other social formations. Mahirap kasi umasa na the government itself will do that. I think at this point it's quite important that we continue to give the message to the government that the
Right.
public is exasperated. The
That's right.
public is angry. The public wants accountability. At pag hindi nila yan na-deliver, no? Kasi sa totoo lang, tayo naman ang mga boss ng nasa gobyerno, di ba? Tayo naman na nagpahiram ng kapangyarihan. So, if the public's pulse is that there should be accountability, the ball should not be dribbled. Hindi dapat dinidribble yung bola. Dapat nagpapakita talaga ng genuine and meaningful steps. So, and this is the challenge for the ombudsman ngayon.
Yeah,
Bro-
I go ahead.
No, I'm going to ask a different question now.
Ako rin.
Okay.
Hindi, ito lang, ako lang, I'd like to pivot a little sa ahensyang na naiwanan, no? Yung DOJ. This is also a critical department, and it's critical position to be appointed. Ang daming names, Prof, na float. One of which was Yusek Claire Castro na rumors na one of the strong contenders. But these are just merely speculation. But how critical do you think is the DOJ for this administration? Considering na meron ka ng Ombudsman Remulla, how important is this next one?
Right. The DOJ is a very powerful, no, cabinet department, no. In fact, talagang napaka-importante ng role na ginagampanan niya, no. And this is an cabinet portfolio that kumbaga napakalapit niyan kailangan, no, sa presidente. And therefore I think yung kung sino man ang papalit should be one wherein is someone that will work closely with not only the government itself, but the ombudsman who was just recently appointed.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if the new Secretary of Justice would be someone that who was or is being recommended by Ombudsman Remulla. Kasi ano niya yan kasama niya yan because the DOJ has jurisdiction over key prosecutorial agencies and institutions na tutulong sa ombudsman, no, in gathering evidence, in case build-up. So, kumbaga, kung magkakaroon ng synchronization between the Department of Justice and the Ombudsman, then mas mapapadali itong accountability campaign na to na gustong i-launch ni Ombudsman Remulla.
Ako naman, Prof, last na on my end, we don't have much time. Tanungin ko na rin po kayo doon sa nangyayari ngayon sa Senado, di ba? Talk about pressure kanina. There's also pressure going on there sa Senate, having Senator Ping Lacson resigning as the Senate Blue Ribbon chairman. Ano po bang take nyo doon sa nangyayari doon?
Unfortunately, what is happening in the Senate does not inspire confidence in the institution. Supposedly, kaya nagkaroon ng leadership changes is to regain some of the perception that the Senate is losing some of the institutional trust and confidence of the people. But if we see that it is quite unstable, that this resignation of the Blue Ribbon chair has something to do with in order to keep the majority intact and therefore the Senate presidency of and leadership of Senate President Soto, then that only means that the Senate is not really focused on its work and its mandate, and parang ang iniisip lang ng mga miyembro nito yung mga interest na gusto nilang protektahan, sarili nilang interest, rather than serving as supposedly public servants and serving representatives of the people.
All right. With that, thank you so much for your time and insights. Of course, Professor Aris Arugay, Professor of UP Department of Political Science. Thanks again for joining us.